Hello, I am here live. Um, this is a first for me. I'm getting ready to go. Getting ready to go live on several platforms here. So, the platforms I'm going live on are YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So, this is a first. I've never, I guess it's called a simulcast. So I've never been here uh, where I've done everything on at one time. So I'm excited. It's it's very nice to be 75 years old and to be learning how to do things new. And I'm here to tell you, a lot of you like are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're not really that familiar with working on the internet, but I'm telling you, it's possible. If I can learn how to do this, if I'm here now on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, all at one time, then I've done quite a bit. So today I'm so excited because I am introducing a new resource that's free for you today. And I wanted to make this gift. Many of you have been loyal followers as I've started this new venture. To tell you a little bit about me is that I have been coaching since 1992. So it's a long time. It's after over 30 years. And I have done other things. So I have been coaching lawyers primarily in the professional arena, but I also have been coaching women in relationships. I've written two books. One I wrote about healing heartbreak, and another about the heartbreak, and then the other one is for a workbook. So today, just so you'll know, and we're going to talk about it more, this is, so it's not the mirror's eye, dating playbook for women 40 to 60 years old. And it's my gift to you. And you're going to have this gift today, and I'm going to tell you how to get it. So I'm really excited to give you this playbook. And let's talk about a little bit about why we're here today. So the first thing we're here is because we are women and we've been told a lot of bill of goods that make us think that we're too old, we're out to pasture, that we can't find love, that there's not enough men out there, that we're not pretty enough, we're not young enough, we're not skinny enough, we're not this or that. And so we bought into it and we've kind of put ourselves out to pasture, which is what I did. And I put myself out to pasture for 20 years. So I had to break that mold, and I'm here to help you to break that mold. And what are some of the problems that we have when we look at trying to be an older woman and trying to be in a significant relationship? Number one, our society has changed a lot, so it's not as easy to meet people. We used to meet people in school or at church or clubs or whatever, and now everything is so online and we're so polarized that it's really hard to meet someone. People used to always tell me, they'd say, Pamela, no one's going to just come out of the blue and knock on your door and say, hey, you're the woman I've been looking for. So year after year after year, nobody knocked on my door. Nobody knocked on my door and nobody said, hey, you're the one I've been looking for. And then, there's like, oh, well, maybe I'll meet him in the grocery store or I'll meet him whatever. And I never did meet anyone. So those are things. So one of the things is that what are some of the things we think about? Well, if I meet guys online, most of them are unemployed. So I'm not looking for someone, I don't want to be taking care of somebody. And so, there are a lot of men that are underemployed, and that is true. And so, you kind of say, well, I'm not going to do anything because, the men are unemployed. Then there's a percentage, this is true. There are a percentage of people, men out there, who are alcoholics or drug addicts or other things. And so that will make you say, well, I'm not going to go online because there's drug addicts, they're alcoholics, even if they don't take like street drugs, are they chemically addicted? They're, like I met somebody who was PTSD, and his marriage ended because he had PTSD. So, is that someone I want who has like an emotional imbalance because of, thank God he served our country, but is that something that I want to take on for myself? The other thing is that a lot of men, because there's perceived so many men and so few women, that men think that they want to take their pick. So then they're like, it's hard to find someone who's monogamous because, they're playing around or whatever. So then, women, they fall in love with a guy and then he's got two or three different women, or he doesn't feel like, he has to be faithful because you should be grateful that I'm just even, giving you any attention. And that is the wrong thing. We don't want to have those kind of guys. So let's see. Another one is they're guys that are dishonest. And so let me just see. I'm trying to navigate TikTok, Instagram. So let me just see. I've been given a key. Hold on a second here. Given a key to put in the Instagram. So we're just bear with me because we're just trying to navigate and see if we can get all of the platforms to work. I don't know. Let me see if I can go here and edit it. Let's see if I could put the key here for Instagram. Let's see if I can edit it. Okay, let me see if I can put this key in here. Instagram key. Okay, I can't do this. It's not going to work. So I don't want to yeah, I don't want to interrupt. Okay, so what just happened here? Oh no. So okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Okay. So I do this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was trying to do two things at one time and that did not work. So let me just go back here. Can you see me? Okay. All right. So the other thing is that there might be dishonesty. There's a lot of people that aren't honest, and then there are people who are takers, and then of course there are narcissists. So you can say, okay, that's too much. That's too many out there. They're not that many men. They're looking for somebody. They're looking for a paycheck. They're not the quality I want. They're underemployed or not employed. They're alcoholics. They are not monogamous. They're dishonest. They're takers. They're narcissists. So I'm just not going to do it. And that's kind of what I did. You know what I mean? But if you think about in life, if you had 20 people that you met down the street, there's a certain percentage of people that are going to be there. I mean, is everybody your friend? So there's a percentage. So are we going to let, because there are people out there who are dishonest or steal or whatever, make us become hermits? We can do that. That's a choice, but it might not be your best choice. And we're going to talk about maybe that's your best choice or not. You may be here and you just say, I can't do it, Pamela. I've been hurt too much. Or you might just be saying, I'm just not, I'm not cut out for it. Or I don't want to trust, but let's hear me out. Just hear me out. Let's just go here and take this step by step. So now, you don't know, you might have had bad past experiences. Okay, I did give dating a try and it didn't work out. So I'm kind of gun shy here. I don't want to put myself out here and try to, do this thing and it doesn't work. So, of course we have to exercise caution, and especially as we're older, we're wiser. We're not like 20-year-old, when we were 20s, I mean, we would like believe what guys said and we were gullible and all of that. So we have to grow up. We have to kind of, what they call, put on our big girl panties and just like, I'm the adult. I'm the adult here and I can make good choices for myself and I can detect when there's BS, and I'm going to be able to be an advocate for myself. And that's the thing that we've never thought. We thought, oh, well, we're girls and we're women and we're supposed to meet a guy and let him be the boss, and he's going to be in charge and we're going to do what he tells us to do. And then we end up being hurt because we didn't take responsibility for ourselves. So yeah, we may have hurt or disappointment. And then we don't know, like, okay, I don't know how to navigate the online. Well, that's where you get help. You have to learn how to put your profile, how you want it to be. You're not there trying to win a popularity contest in some ways, but what you're really looking for is you're looking to communicate who you are and what you're looking for so that the right person will find you. So I'm going to answer questions in a little bit. So just keep asking your questions because I want to make sure I answer everybody's question. So you don't want to feel desperate. That's another thing. Like you meet a guy and then you're like, oh, well, I'm, at least he paid me some attention. I guess I should, put up with his stuff, or I should be grateful that he came in my life. And that's not what we want to do. We do not want to act like he's doing us a favor at all. He is not doing you a favor. He is not doing you a favor. So don't think that just because he looked at your profile or he asked for a date that he's doing you a favor. So, but if you have that feeling like, oh, I'm desperate, and oh, this guy finally is interested, he's the last guy for 100 miles. There was a saying years ago, a friend of mine, that it was in California, and they would go to like the desert, they would go from the desert, and it was 100 miles stretch where there was no stores and no gas or whatever. So then they would say, last gas, the gas station would say, last gas for 100 miles. Well, we know that at 100 miles, you can put enough gas in your tank you might not even have to stop. But all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, last gas for 100 miles. I better make sure we got chips and Coke and gas and everything because we're desperate. It's 100 miles. And that's the way a lot of women act, like, this is the last guy for 100 miles. I better really hang on to him or show him I appreciate him or do whatever I need to do to keep him, because if it's not him, it'll be nobody. I'm going to be by myself. So we don't want to have any of that kind of desperation. So, we might ask ourselves some questions like, okay, how, maybe I'm too old. Am I too old? Am I desirable? Am I pretty enough? Am I skinny enough? Am I whatever? Is it too late? We can always ask ourselves, is it too late? Am I too picky? Maybe I'm too picky. Maybe I should take this guy that doesn't have a job that says he's good enough for me. Or maybe I should look the other way when he doesn't spend Friday or Saturday with me. So, and the other thing you said, is it possible for me? So probably if you're on here, you're saying, is it possible for me? So, so here's the places where you probably are. You are either, Pamela, I don't think I can do it. I'm just listening to what you say and whatever, but I don't think I can do it. or I'm not ready. I'm just getting out of a relationship. Was really hurt, desperate, and desolated, and really grieving. Maybe my husband died or my boyfriend died, and I'm still grieving that loss. Or maybe you're over here saying, maybe I'll put my toe in the water, but I just don't really believe that it's going to happen for me. So, I want to talk a little bit about why I created this workbook, because this playbook, because, a lot of times, we get trapped in, these old habits and old ways of thoughts. So I thought about everything that I did. The 20 years, I went 20 years, no sex, no man, no anything. And I learned a lot. And then I had to let down a lot of those barriers, because I had every barrier that I'm talking about, I had those barriers. So how to work through those barriers so that you can open your heart, so that you can allow the right kind of man. I'm talking about the right kind of man, not settling, right kind of man in your life. So I'm going to tell you a really quick part about my story. Many of you have heard it, but I grew up in a family of narcissists, men. And I was the only girl. And I had a dad, I had 3 brothers. And my dad was the head of the pack of the narcissists. And he had no family values. He was not monogamous. He did not value women. And he was a taker. And so my brothers, in those families, that's what happens, is they learn the same way. So I had 3 brothers, and I watched my whole life of these men who were takers, who didn't value women, who didn't treat them well. And I just was like, I do not want to be one of those women. So I did get married. I was married for 10 years to a nice man, but he did have, I guess if I would say, he was a nice man and he was a kind man, but he was a little bit on the spectrum. And so as time went on and we had 2 children, we were married 5 years and we had 2 children, I realized that this was not going to be a sustainable marriage for me or my kids. And I did not want my kids to grow up in this environment of insanity and chaos. So I divorced my husband. My children were 2 and 5. And then, of course, because he was on the spectrum and he was not even though we planned each one of our children, he did not support us financially. And so I moved to California, and I didn't know what I know now, but really, if you don't work and get over these things, you will continue to attract the same kind of man. So I had the good man who was like a child and was very loving and kind to me, but my natural desires was to be attracted to narcissists or men who were takers. So I had those relationships, and they were very, very painful. And, after many, mistakes and things like that, and the last relationship I was in for 7 years, and it was just bloody, because I was trying to make someone like me who didn't like me. I was trying to make someone love me who didn't love me, who couldn't love me and wouldn't love me, but he was also a taker and a narcissist. So I finally got out of that. And then I just said, no more. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm 55 years old. It didn't work out. I didn't get the husband and the happy, picket fence and all that. So I'm just going to just live my life. I'm going to concentrate on my business. I'm going to concentrate on my career. I'm going to concentrate on my adult children and my grandchildren and my dogs. I had 3 dogs, and I'm not going to deal anymore with this insanity of men, because it's just too painful. And so that's what I did. And I just thought it was normal. And I was like, I built a life and I felt satisfied and all of that. And then I got to be in my 70s. And then I went, well, I really would like to do international travel. I'd love to travel. And so then I went to travel. I could travel by myself. And I remember when I decided that I wanted to be with someone, I was there and I was, at a restaurant or whatever, having a meal. And I said, I could travel internationally and just have a good time. But I really would like to I would enjoy this so much more if I shared it with someone. And so I made up my mind. I got a coach, and I decided to embark upon dating. And with a different attitude, like, okay, these are my bottom line. These are the things I have to have in a relationship. And if I find that, I would be fine with having a traveling companion, a male companion, and someone that I could like. I didn't really even think I'd necessarily fall in love with them, so just someone I could like. And so I did, the dating thing. And the dating thing is challenging. You know what I mean? You do meet all the different types of guys. Although because my profile was good, I didn't go through all the crap that a lot of people did. So anyway, I met at 70 years old. I met my guy. And he didn't look like my guy. He didn't look like the kind of guy that would knock my socks off or I'd fall in love with. But he had the things I wanted. He was honest, he was monogamous, and he was, financially independent. And he was, basically kind. He was a kind man. And so those were things I was like, oh, well, maybe I could find that, maybe that's okay. Maybe this is a good start. And, if anyone has watched my profile, he knocked my socks off and we just like fell totally in lust with each other and unbelievably. And then to our surprise, we fell deeply in love with each other. We weren't even expecting that. And so, the way it looks to me now, I've met my life partner and, it's just been a wonderful thing. So let me tell you, at 75 years old, I found love. So this is why I'm heralding it from the rooftops. Whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, you can find love. And so I've outlined it in this workbook, a process that can help you. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. First of all, in the book, I tell you a little bit more about my story, about how I learned to love. And then I talked about the limiting things that you need to face about what we look at, like the limited dating pool, our experiences, our disappointments, baggage from the past. So you go through all these, and this is this is for you. This is for you to go inside of you. Too many people, they're looking out there to find their love. You can't find your love if you don't find it in here first. So you've got to do some soul searching inside of you before you can find love out there. It starts here. It doesn't start out there. That's why I created this playbook, so that you can start looking inside of you of what's stopping you from having your belief. We have hidden beliefs. We have all sorts of things. The next thing is, you're not going to like this, but you've got to make peace with your past. If we don't make peace with our past and we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to keep repeating the same thing again. So we've got to open the cabinet and go to the past. If you had a kitchen cabinet and it was mess and it had dirt and spilled spices or whatever, you can't just put new things in the cabinet. You've got to clean the cabinet. You've got to go in the cabinet, pull out the stuff that's in there, wash the cabinets, then put the clean in the cabinet. The same thing with you finding your relationship. You've got to go in the past. So what I've done here is, it's an exercise for you to write down different relationships. I know it's not easy. I am offering help to people who really want to do this. I have a very limited spots for women who want to go through this step by step with me, because it is hard to look at our past and it is hard to be honest. But anyway, the name, the reason you broke up, and whether you've healed or what you've done to heal or whether you're not healed, because if you haven't healed, then it's not going to get better. So this playbook is going to help you go to your past. I got plenty of names. If you need extra paper, you can do that, but it's got plenty of lines for you to put in your past relationships. So what happened and why you broke up, and then you can kind of look, you'll see a pattern. Now, after that, you got to reflect upon what happened, and then you got to see, okay, what is my part here? What did I do? What common denominator do I have? I remember I lived in Illinois, and I thought, all these guys in Illinois are just terrible. They're just not good. And then I turned around and moved to California, and guess what? It was me. I was the common denominator. You've got to see where you're the common denominator. So then once the next chapter is admitting your mistakes, you can see what are the things that you're doing. Are you ignoring the red flag? Are you playing games? Are you doing these things? Tell yourself the truth. So it just lists all the things that you need to do to tell yourself the truth, to be honest with you so that you can move on. Your foot is nailed to the ground because you're letting your past experiences and your denial and not telling yourself the truth, because you want to blame them why you're not in a relationship. But when you point the finger at others, guess what? There's at least 3 fingers pointing back at you. So you have to clean out that cabinet so you can put clean spices, clean men, good men into the cabinet, right? So then you want to look at, what do you want to have? What are the must-haves that you want? What are the haves? This is what I must have. Like, I knew that for me, I had to have someone that was monogamous, because that was a big thing with my family. I had to have someone that was honest, and I had to have someone who was secure, mentally, financially, and physically mature. So those are my 3 things, but yours might be different. Is communication, emotional availability. So I have all the things here that you want to look and see. These are what I must have. I must have these. Pick 3. Pick 3 things that you must have. Then the next thing is you go to, what are my desirable qualities? What are my desirable qualities that I want to have? I got the 3. These are non-negotiable. But if I could, what would I like to have? Sense of humor. We like similar activities. These are things that I would like to have. You want to identify that. And you have a little check here. You could check, these are things I would like to have. Then the final thing is your bonus qualities. Now, if I hit the jackpot, this is what I want to have. You know what I mean? So we're kind of reasonable with ourselves. We don't want to like be unreasonable, but we want to be, okay, this is the bottom line. This is what I'd like to have. And boy, if I could have this, he likes to travel. He's handsome. We're both active and have fun. Like, whatever those things are, those are the bonus. So at least you come in knowing what you want. So the whole bottom line is, it's never too late for love. It's never too late. So this playbook is going to let you put your toe in the water. You don't have to go out there and date anybody. You can go and start off cleaning your inside of the cabinet. So I have in addition to this, I have a pajama party workshop that you could take. It's online, and you can click that after you read this, and then that'll take you the next step. And then if you really are ready to like clean house and get the man you want, then book an appointment with me. Now, let's look at the questions here. Let's see what the questions. Okay, I went the wrong way. Okay. So here are our questions. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So first question is, I'm never too old. I love my man. I'm 70, he's 41, and I never put myself out to pasture. Good for you, Queen. You found him. You're happy, and I'm glad. And you realize that age is just a number. You can open your heart. This is funny because she's your love and knocked on your door, and bam. Okay, so you were one of those ones that someone knocked on your door. I was not one. They never knocked on my door. Yeah. So anyone else have questions? Okay, so someone wanted to know whether my man is an American descent citizen. Yes, he is. He's Caucasian, but he's definitely a U.S. citizen. I call him an 80s white guy because that was one of the things when I first met him, is because he's like very old fashioned, has a lot of old traditional values, but he's a real gentleman, and and I learned that I like that. So we're yeah. Uh I was on the dating site. How long was I on the dating site before I met? I'm gonna say I was on the dating site off and on for a couple of years. I would like maybe, like date someone, and then I would like, nah, like that. I did have one relationship before I met my current Greg, and we dated for, I thought he was the one, but he did have for sure um, dishonesty. He wasn't honest. There were some red flags that I did not ignored along the way, which is what I want to help you to ignore those red flags. And then he ended up being abusive to me. We broke up, and then 6 weeks later he died. So that was a really kind of traumatic. Now the old me, I would have just, like, oh, see, I met somebody. We thought we were going to live in Portugal together. We thought all this, but you know what? I had a coach, and then I just kept dating. I healed. I had to heal. I felt guilty and all those things, but I just made up my mind. I'm going to find a guy. And I'm glad I didn't give up, because I wouldn't have met my Greg. Yeah, we have to maintain our self-worth. You're scared of online dating. You feel lost. You don't trust anybody. Well, the first thing is you want to trust yourself. That's why I said this playbook is going to help you to start trusting yourself. When you trust yourself, you can trust that you're going to not just accept anything from anybody. So trusting yourself is a part. So just start there. Say, okay, I don't trust anybody, but I'm going to start trusting me. I'm going to look at my past, see what are the things that I've done that have caused me hurt. Where have I sold myself down the road? Where have I not stood up for myself? Where have I ignored red flags? Where have I been a doormat? So, use the playbook to clean your cabinet. Anybody on here could do this, whether you're married, you're in a relationship, or you could just start here. All I can do is I'm going to look at myself, because it starts with yourself. Water seeks its own level. Chickens don't run with ducks. We've got to clear up our stuff if we want to attract the person. A few years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to attract Greg, because I had too many things about myself that he wouldn't have liked. He would have not have been the level of, he would not have been the level. And the same with him. There are certain things that he had to go through so that when we met, we were meeting each other at the same place. But you have to do your own work. Don't think you're going to go in the relationship and do the work. You've got to do the work yourself. Maintain your worth. Do they actually exist? Yeah, they are out there. There are a lot of men out there that you will love to have. I remember someone told me years ago, this was a woman, and she had married someone who was like, he was a CEO of the Rand Corporation. They were really wealthy people. He says, when you meet the right guy, a lot of times you might not like how they dress. You may not like their car, not like, a fancy car, or they might be more conservative. They don't have a BMW, or they don't have all this fancy stuff. But, you can, they can dress, you can do things like that. When Greg and I, the first weekend, he had this wrinkled t-shirt on. I was like, we were in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, really? You have a wrinkled t-shirt on? So I kind of joked with him about it, but he didn't have that GQ thing going, you know what I mean? And he didn't have that suave and, like that. But he's like, wow, he's like a great lover. But he was in disguise. He looked like this square, dorky guy. You know what I mean? So we have to open our mind, because we think, oh, he's supposed to be GQ. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be that. But when you open your mind and you kind of let people meet people and see who they are and find their qualities, they are out there. There are men out there whose wives have died. There's men out there who are lonely. And Greg, before I met him, he had been hurt so much that he hadn't dated for 2 years himself. He just He was planning on actually maybe having to live the rest of his life by himself. So there are guys. I had a chance to heal in 20 years. We as women have to learn to take time to heal. We do. That's why this. You can heal. It doesn't take 20 years. I took 20 years because I didn't believe in love. When I started to write down that I wanted to have love in my life. When I really decided, I believed I could do anything else but have that. I just hadn't had it. I hadn't had it. And here I am, 75 years old, and I have it. Something that I thought I could never have. It is out there. What is the difference? It's like I let down my walls. I let down my walls, but I had to do it because I had to heal me. And I had to look at me, and I had to be able to let down my walls. We're just like shadow boxing. We're so busy hiding behind this. He hurt me this, and this happened, and my father this, and my brother this, and all the men, and blah, 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 and you never let your walls down. But I let my walls down, and boy, what I got when I let my walls down was I still can't believe it, and he can't believe it. We can't believe what we have because we let our walls down, and it started with me. Let's see. Never dated with a different race. Is this your first interracial? No, it's not. I have dated way back in the 80s, and I was in Illinois. I dated a white guy, which back then it was really something. And he just had a gentleness that I liked, and I was like so traumatized by the men in my family that I think that I was more open to someone in another race because there was a difference in the gentleness of how he treated me and how kind he was. And so to me, that was attractive. But yeah, we did that. Does anybody else have any other questions? Please ask any questions you have. Anything you want to ask about me, anything you want, because then I want to tell you how you can get the your playbook. Yeah. Sheila, every Sunday at 2:30, he comes. He's here. He lives 3 hours away from me, and he comes every Friday. Every Friday afternoon, he comes, and he stays Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And he works. We're still older people. We're working. I work here in my house, and he works at a bank in where he lives. And so when he's here on Sunday afternoon, we sit down right here and we do a Q&A. And you can ask us anything you want. And he's learning. You got to talk about, he's like an 80s white guy. He doesn't even have a Facebook account. He's with me. He's all on social media. He's like, what's happening? So he'll be here on Sunday. He'll be here. We're here pretty much every Sunday. He wasn't here last Sunday because he went to go visit his kids in Ohio. He's originally from Ohio. How does he feel about my relationship being public? He has adjusted to our relationship being public. He understands. I think this is what he feels. He feels that what we have is very special, and what we have that he realizes just in watching the social media, how many people are out there hopeless like we were. We were both hopeless. We just thought we'd never meet anybody. He had bought some land, and he just said, well, I'm just going to build this little house here and just live here by myself. And he was talking to his kids about, okay, this is my last hurrah. So for him to be like excited and like a teenager, and we're so happy to be together and we have this time, it's like, yes, we can share this. So he's gotten used to it. He's been on, he didn't even like pictures because he feels like he's not handsome. So he's like taking pictures and then videos. And we did one video in the car. We were getting ready to go to the gym, and we did a little video about how we met. And we got on one, we got 900 and something views on one, and then we recycled it, and we got another 900. And he said, wow, so he was feeling like, oh, well, people really want to hear what we're doing. So yeah, I do have recommendations for dating sites. It's just number one, you have to how can I say it? You have to be honest and write down the things that you want. That's why you want to use this, because you want, these are things I must have, these are things I'd like to have, and these are the bonus. So when you write your profile, you're not trying to write a profile that's trying to please someone else. You want to let people know what you want. So, dating sites, I was on Tinder. I hear that Tinder is more of a pickup site. And, but I do know two people who got married or had serious relationships on Tinder. So I wouldn't rule any of them out. There's Bumble. I never tried Bumble because I couldn't figure, the woman is supposed to do the picking. I never could figure that out. And, but I've tried eHarmony. I've met a couple of nice guys on eHarmony, because eHarmony, it's a little more expensive, but the guy has to take his time. He's really looking for a relationship. And then eHarmony, Match.com is where Greg and I met. And I've met a few nice guys on Match.com. Have I been to his house? No, but I think I'm going to go to his house. It's been totally like, he's been trying to get me to come, but he lives 3 hours away. So I work, his work is more flexible than mine. So I just like, on the weekend, do I want to drive 6 hours, or do I want to ride 6 hours? 3 hours there, 3 hours that, then I have to work and clean my house and do all my stuff. So, but he has a medical thing that's coming up, and I think that I'm going to finally break down and go up there on his because, he's going to the doctor. We're older, we're looking at our future together, and we want to look at our health. So I think that I will go up there to go for his final appointment when he gets his diagnosis. So I will go up there. He reached out for me first. It's a funny story because he's never dated a Black woman before. So he was looking at me on Match, but he wasn't really considering dating, a Black woman. But he would look at my profile, and then, because you could tell when they look at you. So I wouldn't go on every day, but when I'd look, I'd see he looked at my profile. So, we did that for a few months, where he was looking at my profile, I looked at his profile. And because his profile was kind of funny, it was like he was saying, I live in a double wide, I have abandoned cars in my house, I have one tooth. And I was like, and his pictures didn't match that was him, and I was like, is this a joke or what? So anyway, he finally asked me, he said, I noticed you've been looking at my profile, would you like to meet? So he reached out to me, and we had lunch. And then I was impressed because he was willing to drive 3 hours to take me to lunch. So I said, any guy that's going to drive 3 hours to come to meet me must be interested in a relationship. So that's why it worked out. And we sat across the table from each other, and we were not our picture of each other, who we normally would like, but we were open, and we just said, okay, you want to try? Let's go on another date. And then, of course, you may know the story, but on our second date, because it was my birthday and we didn't see each other for a few weeks. So then our second date, I was going on a business trip, and I had a dog that was failing. My dog was dying, and I didn't want to leave him by himself. So I invited him to come on this trip with me and my dog to watch my dog. And then we ended up, being romantic. And then we fell in love. I mean, we are deeply in love with each other. We when we're not together during the week, we miss each other, which is good. We miss each other during the week. And then when we're together, just like time flies by, and we're talking about how we can, navigate our lives together. What do we need to do to have our lives together, and how we can spend the rest of our life together, and about getting engaged and all that. So we fell in love. We just we were like there, and we were just liking each other and being each other and enjoying being each other. And then it was like, boom, oh my God, we're just totally in love. And we can't spend enough time with each other. We miss each other. I went to visit my kids a couple of weeks ago, And that was the first time since we've been dating that we didn't see each other for 10 days. And we were like, I was in North Carolina missing him and he was missing me. And he says the hardest part, is like Sunday he goes home and he says he misses being with me. And then he starts counting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday he'll be here. So Friday he will be here. So I'm counting too. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday he will be here. And we just, just hang out. We go out to eat. We just, just totally enjoy being with each other. And we just totally have fallen in love. And we're just like figuring out how we're going to spend the rest of our life together. With that said, we're not in a hurry, because when you're like in your 70s, when you're older, and if you're in your 40s, you own property, you have, there's a lot of stuff that has to be, you don't just like, oh, well, we're going to go live together. Oh, we're going to go do this. You have to really look and see strategically what makes sense. How can we live together? And he has bought this property. I definitely don't want to live where he lives. I mean, at all. He knows that. And then he bought this property and I told him I don't want to live there either. So we're kind of talking about where do we both want to live? So that's the first thing. Where do we want to live? And then like, okay, are we going to buy a house together, or is he going to buy the house? Like, what are we going to do? So those are things that we have to try to find out. Are there any other questions? I want to tell you how to get the book. So if you go on my profile on here on TikTok or whatever. Oh, good, Rand. I'm glad. You don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I'm telling you, I would have given up when that guy died. I would have given up and I would have like missed the most. I mean, like Greg and I just said, like, wow, we waited until we were 75 years old. He's 72. He's younger than me. We waited until we were 75 and 72 to find the best love of our whole life. Like we never, ever, ever would have thought that we could have found this at this age. Just like I couldn't have believed it until I have it, and it's like, oh my God, this is what, someone who I've been wanting someone to be this for me my whole life. I didn't think it was possible, especially since I was around men like my dad. I just didn't think that there were good, loyal, monogamous, kind, upstanding men. So, you're never too old. So anyway, if you go on my profile here, if you're on TikTok, if you're on any other of the sites, you can write, if you're on like Instagram or Facebook, if you put Playbook, then we will send you the link so that you can download the book. This is a downloadable. This is what I do. Go to my profile, click the link, and you fill out your name and your email so we can send you the book. And then, when you click the link, it's going to say, you're going off a TikTok site. This is dangerous. We're safe. We're safe. Just click the thing, and then you'll fill out your name and your email, and we will email you your downloadable playbook right to your email address. Right there. It's free. It's my gift to you. And you can go through all the exercises. You can take this with you. So then what I did, I downloaded it. I go to Kinko's or Home Depot and I get it bound. It's just like maybe $6, $5 or whatever, $3, so that I have the book. I like to have the whole thing here. You can have a bunch of sheets of paper, but you could just, this is free. Just go and go to FedEx or whatever and get it bound. And then take the book and then start working it. Just start working the book. Clean out your cabinet. Clean out your cabinet so that you can see what's holding you back from having love in your life. You're never too old for love. So this is my gift. I want you to get it today. Just go to my link, my profile on TikTok. Click the link. It's going to say you're going away to a dangerous place off of the site. They want you to stay on the site. Click anyway. Fill in your name and your email address. and then check your email and get your playbook, and then print it up. And then for those of you who are really serious about this, I would go to Kinko's or FedEx. I went to FedEx today. I got these two bound. It just feels better, like you're serious. I'm not haphazard, like just throwing some paper here. I'm serious about taking the steps to finding love. So that's all I have for you today. If there's any more questions before I go to my profile, click the link. It's going to say you're going off the site. Click it anyway, and then fill out your email address, and then check your email and get your download. I do click download, and you will get your book, and then print it up. If you're on Instagram or you're on YouTube, you're just going to have to put Playbook in the comments, and we will send you the link. I'm so glad you joined me today, and this was a really great conversation. And I'm going to try to do this every week. And I want you to really get an opportunity to work through these things, because you deserve to be loved. You deserve it. I just didn't think I deserved it for 20 years. And I'm like, oh my God. Like Greg says, Pamela, how did you 20 years? But I guess I was waiting for him. Yeah, we love it. We fall in love, and it's like, you know how it is when you fall in love and the flowers are red and the flowers are pretty and the trees and the song and the music. It's just I don't know if any of you have heard the new Lady Gaga song with Bruno Mars. And that just is like, I was like, oh, wow, that's how I feel about Greg. It's like die with a smile. So if you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's a beautiful song. And, you want to get your book today. It's free. It's my gift to you. And then if you want to, go further, and there's the, you can take the course, or you can sign up to 30 minutes talking with me. I will help you work through the book, and that will be well worth it if you're ready to do that. Sheila, you love that song. Isn't it beautiful? It's like, oh my God, what a song. I just, and it's so interesting is that, I didn't never feel like I would feel that way about anyone. I was afraid to date at first. I was, but I just, it's like doing anything new. When you first do something, just like me doing lives on TikTok, it was the first like, oh my God, I'm going to do a live, but you start doing it, and then you get used to it. And if you do the work that I mentioned in your playbook, you start to trust yourself. So then you're like interviewing the guy. You come with a point of authority and confidence. So, but if you don't do the work, you're like, you don't know what your triggers are. You don't know what you're looking for. You don't know whatever. And then you're like a lamb to slaughter. So what I'm talking about here is you really want to have a powerful confidence about yourself. When you trust yourself, you could trust yourself to date. Because you know what? No is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. It's just like I was like the guy that died, we were going to Portugal. And I was like, oh my God, should I go with Portugal, this guy? And, we were dating and all that. And then when he acted like a jerk, you know what? The very next day I packed my stuff and I left, and I went and found my own place. I didn't take a minute of his abuse, not a second of his abuse. So when you have that confidence, you know what the red flags are, and you don't kind of cower down and become small, because you want someone that makes you feel big. Big people make people feel big around them. People who are small have to diminish you and make you feel small and bad about yourself. You have to be able to know who you are, and then be around people who know who you are and appreciate with who you are. That's the thing about Greg, is like that when we sat down, I'll tell you this, when we sat down for our first meal, and he said to me, he says, I know you're pretty. I don't have to tell you you're pretty, but you're smart. I love that you're smart. And that for me, because the men in my family did not like that I was smart. They thought, you're too nuts, you too speak too much, you're this, you're that, you're too confident. And you know, um, I was like, no, no, no. I want someone who valued me being smart. And then I told Greg, you can tell me I'm pretty too. Don't, I grew up in a family where my family told me I wasn't pretty. So you can tell me I'm pretty and you can tell me I'm smart. And he loves that I'm smart. And then when I have someone that knows that I'm smart, he's encouraging me to be the best person I could be. What? How did I didn't move in with anybody. What do you mean? I didn't move in with anybody. Click the link in the TikTok profile. Yeah, just go to my profile and click the link, and then it'll tell you, oh, you're going off the site. Just click anyway, because I'm trustworthy. I'm telling you, click my site, and then after you click my profile, you click the slide. They'll say you're going off of TikTok. Click that anyway, and then you'll fill in your email address, and then they'll send you your playbook. So yeah, so I didn't move in with anybody. The guy, if you're talking about the guy who died and I moved out, that was a guy that we were thinking about moving to Portugal together, and we went on a trip, and then he became abusive. And then the first day I was out of there. I wasn't going to put up with it. And he was like shocked. But there are men who are used to putting women down, and I'm just not one of them. I'm not there for that. So, but when you do your work, that's what I'm saying, women, do your work, because then you can, your antennas up and you can see the red flags. You can see what's going on, and you could change and move out, move on. You're not desperate like, oh my God, if I leave this guy, I'm going to be by myself. He's the last guy for 100 miles. No. Next. That's like, I said no to that guy, and I felt really bad about it. But you know what? Greg was there. And so there are men out there. There are men, I'm telling you, there's hundreds and hundreds of men who are looking for a good woman. And you just have to make yourself available and get yourself ready for it. Okay. All right. We talked a long time. But anyway, I'm glad you all came. And I'm going to try to do this every week. And then we can see how I can help you along your way, because you deserve love. You're not too old. You are ready to be happy. You can learn to be loved. So get your playbook, bring it with you next time, and we can talk more about it. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, okay. I'm still on. There's only 2 people here. So I'm still on LinkedIn Live. So I'm going to leave here. Thank you all for joining me. This has been quite an experience. It's the first time I've ever done TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and LinkedIn all at one time. So I'm glad to be here, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.